Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek with a latest Crackout challenge video here. And I'm going to start with this 020 Morgan, which you may have seen it in another video where I was showing you how to open the case. I use this coin largely for that purpose, which is pretty bad judgment on my part probably because it's actually not on the list of reasons to crack a coin out is just to show somebody how it's done. But I really did like this coin actually a lot myself. 020 Morgan. It's got some real very light um, gray steel toning to the back of it. It is not really super colorful. The little color in the corner. It's also not blast white. I tend to like coins with a little bit of that muted look once in a while, as long as they've got good eye appeal in person. And the obverse has this really interesting gold hue to it. And I thought overall the fields were really clean. There's a mark there on the cheek, but other than that, you can see the quality of the coin right there in that shot of the lower half of the cheek into the field, and then the back of the field. And really, to me, it didn't seem like there was that much of a stretch to get it into a 5 holder. Well, it did come back from a 4 to a 4, so it's not the type of coin that has much of a spread. A 4 is like 75 bucks and a 5 is like 150. And so anyway, that was perhaps a little bit silly on my part, but I've got 3 more coins that I don't know if controversial is the right word, but that we're going to talk quite a bit about, because I've got this 1878 7/8 strong in ICG graded 64 plus, and I sent that into NGC. So the 78 7/8. So what we're looking at there is the tail feathers, and you can see where it looks like there's doubling. It is literally the tail feathers over the tail feathers. That's what they're talking about there on the 7/8. And this coin, really quite nice. There's some contact marks just under the word trust that are pretty noticeable, but the rest of the field is really clean. One of the ways that you can kind of get a feel for just how rare a coin is from one grade to the next is just looking at the current bid prices in the gray sheet. How hard is it to get this coin in 65? Well, in 64, it's about a $400 coin, and in 65, it jumps to about $1,600, which says to me that these come fairly ugly, pretty marked up, not attractive. You can see a pretty big mark there on the side. You got some marks up and around the field there. A lot of the marks in the field here aren't that strong. And the overall quality of the coin, I thought, could be a 5. NGC called it a 4. It's a little bit of a wash, but there's a part of me that, as we talk more and more about population controls and whether or not that's a real thing, and if NGC and PCGS actively do that, I don't know. I mean, on the merits, this coin on its merits to me is more attractive than just a 64, but I think we can let bygones be bygones. By the way, just for the record, these coins were all sent in on their standard service, which they call early bird. So anytime you can have a coin up to $3,000 in value, and the requirement for their economy service is under $300. All right, so how am I going to do this? I got 2 tricky coins left. I don't know which order to do them in. I got the $17.99 dollar, which was in a VF30 holder, and then I've got this 19S penny, which was an ICG MS65 brown holder. Now, I think I'm going to start with the dollar on this. And this is a coin that a lot of you mentioned to me when you saw it. Don't send that coin in. It's been cleaned. Or they will call it cleaned, whichever your opinion was. Some of you said it's been cleaned. Some of you said they will call it cleaned. We've also talked a little bit on here about net grading. and how sometimes instead of actually grading it the grade it should be and calling it cleaned, if the coin is kind of borderline cleaned, maybe they'll just knock it a grade. Well, I think my opinion on this coin is that maybe that's, in theory, if you believe PCGS really does that, maybe that's what they did to this coin. Because to me, this coin is still an extra fine, and I wouldn't even put it into the cleaned category. So I just want to defend myself a little bit on this one. One of the things that you'll see on this coin, and this is something that I don't know that you can find anywhere else but from myself, is that if you get a coin and it still has luster on it, it's an extra fine. Like if you get a coin and the luster's gone, you know, and it hasn't been cleaned, I mean, you can lose luster because of cleaning, then it's a very fine. But as you tilt this coin, around the word United, the eagle talons, up into this states part here, that is honest to goodness mint luster still. And the cleaning portion to me is really hard to, I think it's kind of hard to stand by. And once again, this gets back to the theoretical question of, when is a coin actually cleaned? Is it cleaning intentional? Because if you keep a coin in your pocket, it's rubbing against cloth. That has the exact same effect as cleaning. So if there's not like massive hairlines and stuff on a coin, has it been cleaned? I still think, as you look at the amount of detail left on this coin, that it should be in an XF40 holder and that it should not say cleaned on it. And I'm talking about the luster there by the stars. I'm talking about the amount of detail in the stars. The amount of detail left on the face is actually pretty high. The date is strong. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to think on this one. I'm not 100% sure. You know, there's a part of me that thinks that I could crack it out and send it to PCGS restoration. See, it's got some spots, these kind of spots to it. A dark spot there between the N and the moving up. Let me show you this. You see this, there's like some dark patches like here and on the clouds, and it moves like a line right through here. You know, almost like it had some residue on it at one point or something. And I'm just wondering out loud if sending it in for restoration would make any difference. All right, so there's that. Finally, you know, I think I tend to be kind of rational with this. Sometimes you'll hear me defend the grading company's position, maybe over my own. And then you get a coin like this, this 19S penny, which was ICG graded MS65 brown, and which is very possibly the single nicest 19S penny that I've ever owned. And NGC calls it a 64 brown, which is just kind of like this ho-hum boring grade on a boring coin. And you know, in this, based on the gray sheet, that's only a $150 coin. A 65 is a $300 coin. They don't list a 66 brown. Hello to my scent collectors. Can you please explain to the rest of the audience just how nice this coin is? Because my goodness, I think they're out of their minds on this coin. I just do. That coin is stunningly beautiful. And to call it a 64, you know, you need to have either just a lack of eye appeal and luster, or you need to have just a bunch of baggedy bag marks. And this coin in person is phenomenal. just phenomenal. So anyway, agree to disagree, as they say, but I'm really upset about this one just because it's such a lovely coin. And I'm almost more indignant, not so much about the value, but that you see something so beautiful and you sit and you look at it, and then someone gives it a kind of meh kind of score. They may as well have just wrote meh up there. That would have been just as good. So anyway, there you go. And now I need to figure out what to do with myself. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen.